What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 54 of the Trout Wrangler Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Garrity. Um, we have a big episode coming for you guys today. We got a lot to talk about. We have an awesome interview with Justin from Historic Coast Outfitter in Jacksonville Beach, St. Augustine, Florida. Um, Talk about their cast and blast trips, eco tours, inshore and offshore fishing charters. Talk about just reds, snook, tarpon, fishing for all those, how they've done. We also talk about their new show, Historic Coast Hangouts, which is an awesome podcast if you haven't listened to it. There's a bunch of really cool guys, a lot of really cool guests too. Um, but we also are going fishing tomorrow, so at the end of the episode, we'll start to outline a little bit of what we're doing tomorrow, where we're going, um, all that good jazz. But before we get into the interview, just want to let you know how to save a little money at riversmith.com. Use code Wrangler10, WRANGLER10 at riversmith.com. Any convoy bag, any river quiver, hat, shirt, anything that Riversmith makes. They just came out with a new 45-liter hauler. That thing looks awesome. Big duffel bag. You can haul whatever you want in it. Waders, boots, reels, um, fly boxes, just dry compartment, dry storage, waterproof. You can toss the thing in the water and it floats. And that's with all their Convoy Series stuff. Really cool. Check it out. And if you want one, Wrangler 10 at checkout. And if you buy any River Quiver or Convoy Series bag these days, guess what? You get a free Trout Routes premium subscription for the next year. So buy Convoy Series hauler, Riversmith River Quiver, any of those in the Convoy Series or River Quiver Series family. Boom, right there. Premium subscription of Trout Routes for a year. So now for the interview with Historic Coast Outfitters. What's up, guys? Like I said in the intro, we have a very good podcast coming for you guys today. We got a guest. I'll let you introduce yourself a little bit, Justin.
I'm Captain Justin Anderson with the Historic Coast Outfitters from Northeast Florida, Jacksonville, St. Augustine area.
Perfect. So let's start from the beginning of your fishing journey. Like, where and when did you start fishing, and what brought you to Florida?
So I'm a native Floridian, born and raised here, just outside of Jacksonville. I'm kind of in between Jacksonville and St. Augustine, more inland. So I grew up in a small rural town, very country setting. I grew up bass fishing, brim fishing. My dad would go offshore fishing and bottom fishing and stuff, but I was just never really into that. Like I would go. So I was around the saltwater, but I wasn't into it. I did real heavy bass stuff and a lot of hunting background actually.
Okay.
Did a lot of hunting with like dog hunting, with hog hunting, with cur dogs and stuff like that. And then, so kind of always was in the outdoors in some extent from, the time I was born, pretty much. Like I said, we were running around shooting squirrels out of trees and doing stuff like that, at a real young age. And then it just progressed from there, as I got kind of older. But yeah, I was born and raised here. I moved away for 1 year. Went to Dallas, Texas when I was 18, a small town kid, wanted to get away, wanted to get out of here, tired of the country. And I got to Dallas and I was like, man, take me back home. Like
Yeah.
I barely made it a year, and that was only because of my apartment lease. I couldn't get out of it, so I went there at 18, got back in 19, and I've been here ever since. So early years, a lot of freshwater stuff, just having fun being outdoors, and probably 2015 ish started getting into wanting to learn more saltwater stuff. And the reason being, everything around here for hunting, I was having to drive hours. And I have, two children and a, family. And my son was playing baseball, and I couldn't leave every weekend to go hunt. So I was like, man, I'm just going to dive more into fishing. I always fished, but I was more heavy hunting. So that's when the transition took place. And then I got into sight fishing, and I had a friend who was guiding at the time, and he didn't want to do inshore stuff anymore. He wanted to transition more to offshore. And he was teaching me how to sight fish with just like a jig head and a shrimp and a spinning rod. At this point, I didn't have any clue what a fly rod was. So I started doing that, and then that was probably, like I said, 2015-ish. I really kind of like dabbled in, learning more. I knew how to saltwater fish a little bit, but I wasn't a professional by any means. So I dove into that, and then shortly after that, one of the guys who guides with me now at Historic Coast, Joey, had a fly rod. And I wasn't a kid, like I said, who grew up knowing anything about fly fishing, or I thought it was an up north thing.
Yeah.
So I seen him with it one day, and I started just talking to him about it, and he basically was like, "Hey, come pick up one from me, just borrow it, and just practice with it, and see if you're interested in it." So I got one, had it for like a year, to be honest, and I was one of the guys who like would only do it when it was perfect conditions, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out today, I'm gonna bring it, but I'm gonna bring the spinning rod, but I'm only going to use it if the conditions are perfect. I had a little 14-foot wide bottom low John boat at the time, so it wasn't ideal for fly fishing. It was getting snagged on everything, and so I'd mess around with it, and then went out for a flood tide in that little boat with Joey one time. The first time I had ever like actually tried to fly fish, and we split up on the flat. We got out. We're waiting. And we walked about 100 yards away from each other in opposite directions of the flat. And he's like, "Look, the water is going to come in this way. You know, if you see one, you'll know it, and just cast at it and try to catch it." That was literally the only instruction he gave me. And if you ever meet Joey or anyone that knows him, will know that's about the extent of like, "Hey, this is what I'm going to teach you the basics, and you're going to go figure it out." So I wait out on this flat, and I'm sitting there. The water's coming in, and I look like probably 75 to 100 yards away at this point. And all of a sudden, I see something. And I'm like, "Man, that looks like a fish." And I'd never seen a tailing redfish in the grass at this point. And I look, and I'm like, "Oh, that is a fish." So I kind of like slowly start working towards him, and I'm like, "Man, he's so far away. I'm never gonna get a shot of this fish. He's gonna be gone by the time I walk up there." Well, like about the time I said that, the fish turns and starts coming towards me down this grass flat, and I'm watching it and kind of seeing what it's doing and how it's moving. And this fish literally gets within like 4 feet of me, and I must have cast it at it. It felt like 10,000 times, and I could never get the fly in front of it, obviously, or even close to it. Not even close enough to spook it, if that tells you anything, because it was like 5 foot from me. Swam around me, tailed right in front of me, and then I watched this. Yeah, I watched fish swim off unharmed, dude. No fish were harmed in the making of my first fly fishing trip, and I fell in love with it because I was like, that was one of the coolest things. As coming like I bow hunted, before
Yeah.
someone coming from that and seeing that, and I was like, this is awesome. Like to watch that fish do its thing undisturbed, and me just not be able to get it done. It frustrated me, excited me all at the same time.
Oh yeah.
So after that, I was pretty much ate up with the fly rod. Like that, not that I don't spin fish now, but that's where my passion for sight fishing and doing everything and then getting into guiding, that's what ignited it. So that's kind of young age to what prompted me to want to get to where I am now.
I got you, dude. I love that analogy. Everybody that asks me, it's like, oh, like, what could you compare fly fishing to? Like all my buddies that hunt, I'm like, dude, it is bow hunting with a fishing
It's
rod.
bow hunting, yeah.
It's legitimately bow hunting with a fishing rod.
It both equally frustrating, both take a lot of patience,
Oh yeah,
but they're also the most rewarding in my opinion. Not that
I agree.
not that I don't enjoy catching them on a spinner rod. I'll have just as much fun. But there's something about, the skill set and the little extra hard work it takes, you just
Yeah,
feel a little bit more proud of it, in my
that's
opinion.
how that's how I am too. Like that's literally the first like my buddy who really kind of like showed me the ropes on hunting and fishing when I was younger and I got here. Um, he's like, dude, he's like, just go buy a bow for Christmas one year. He's like, just ask for a bow. He's like, we'll start bow hunting. I never
Yeah.
picked up a rifle. I fell in
Oh,
love with bow
really?
hunting. Dude, yeah,
That's
never
awesome.
picked up a rifle. I loved it. Dude, it is frustrating as all hell though.
Oh man, it's tough, As I've gotten older, I've learned to, when I try new things to kind of enjoy the journey at first. But when you're first starting out, it's just so overwhelming. And
Oh
and
yeah.
certain people make it look so easy. Still to this day I see guys cast sometimes and I'm like, you look like you're using way more effort than I am, and it looks just way easier.
Yeah.
So those sort of things, if you pay attention to details, pick up on that, it gets a little easier. But it's a journey.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, I lived outside the villages for 2 years, and I
Okay.
experienced that 100% with like bow hunting in Florida. Dude, like whatever I was doing was just I was out and you probably know Gothi. It's kind of
Yep.
up
Yeah.
that way. I'd
Yep.
go out to like the pipeline unit in Ocala, and dude, I wasn't seeing deer, and I was like, man, you know what? I'm just gonna enjoy this. and, and like I'm just gonna enjoy
the
this. This be the grind.
the deer hunting in Florida is tough.
Yeah,
People
very.
don't they think you're just saying that because you live here, but in the Midwest, in those areas, you got more pinch points. You got more setup points on them. Here you're to get a good buck, like a really good buck. You're hunting some rough woods. Generally, they're
Oh
not
yeah,
just walking out in the open in a field. Things like that. So
yeah.
you just gotta be a little bit more in tune. There's not as much land here that's open, so they're down in swamp bucks are a thing in Florida.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
dude.
so they don't live in pretty places sometimes.
No, dude. In that, like everybody's when I was living there, all my buddies were like, "Oh, dude, you haven't killed a deer yet." I'm like, "No, dude. Like, you should see what I am hunting." I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, "Dude, I literally had a gator walk across where my
Hmm.
stand was at." I was like, "Dude, I
Oh
am
yeah,
hunting just sticky, like
yeah.
hot swamp, dude. Like legit."
And in those swamps, those bucks will find little hills and in dry areas, and they
Yeah.
know they can hear anything coming that's going to be a predator or a harm to them. It helps with the smell, draws the smell.
Oh
So
yeah.
there's a bunch of different. I mean, they're smart, man. There's a lot that goes into it, but if you can kill a good buck in Florida consistently, in my opinion, you're a good hunter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But the brand you guys have, it blends like resort style experience with the old school fish camp vibe. How did you guys develop that vision?
So when I first decided I was going to be a guide and all of that, I was became friends with Vince Stigura from Skinny Water Culture.
Yeah.
We went down to the Fly Fish Film Tour down, and I think it was in Tampa one year, and we watched the film. I had just met him, didn't really know him. We kind of chatted online, you know. So after that was over, we go to leave, and we are gonna go to a bar or something and hang out with some people. He hits me up, and he was like, "Hey man, y'all are down here. A few of us are going over to court, Douthit's Guide House." And I was like, okay. He's like, y'all come hang out. So we pull up over there, and there's a lot of people there. Like Hunter from the Captain's Collective's there, Jesse Mills, the photographer's there, Mac
Oh yeah.
Elliott. All these people are hanging out, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, what is this? Because it was just a house. And he's like, oh,
Yeah.
this is a guide house. Like when I bring clients in or group trips, like I have a group of people come in, we do the lodging for them. He had a fire disc out there whipping everything up, and it was kind of like resort style, but not resort. And
Yeah.
I was like, no one's really doing that where I'm at or really anywhere at the time. Like there wasn't many of those places in the United States that were resort style, but not like, overseas or whatever out of the country. So the wheels got to turning. And I was like, man, there's a lot of people that want to go on trips with their friends. They want to go to a fishing destination, but not everyone can take a week or 10 days off work and afford a 5 to 10 to upwards $1,000 to go fish and hang out with their buds. But most people that are outdoorsmen, if they really want to go to a destination, they can afford maybe 3 days and maybe
Yeah.
like $1,800 for all your meals, your housing, guided fishing, and you just show up to one place. We give you a lodge of experience without the lodge, right? We use houses. We have a couple different houses we use depending on the group size. So the wheels just kind of started turning, and I was like, I would want to go, if there was those offers. So I started looking around, and then also there was no one here offering like everything. Like you have your fly guides, you do your sight fishing, you have your offshore guys, you have whatever. But very few guys have like a one-stop shop where if a client calls me, no matter what they want to do, I have the bases covered. Even into some hunting realms, we do some
Yeah.
turkey hunting, some hog hunting, things like that. So with that in mind, I was like, okay, who can I pull in to work with me? And at that time, I had a handful of friends that were wanting to get into guiding or had just started guiding and had some interest. And I was like, all right, well, here, everyone had like a little bit of different strengths. Like one guy was real fly heavy, one guy had a really good turkey background. One guy was a diversified angler. I could do it all, like bait to artificials to fly fishing to whatever you want to do. He could do it, any species. So I was like, how can I assemble a team where if someone calls me, then we're not going to turn them away. So then I started looking, and then I kind of pitched it to these guys. Like they were all buddies of mine. I was
Yeah.
like, here's my vision. I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't have a plan other than this is what I want to do. I don't have a roadmap. There's no one I can talk to because no one's really done this in this format that I knew at the time. And I was like, if y'all are in, this is my plan. This is how we're gonna do it. I think this is gonna work. You're just gonna have to trust me. And
Yeah,
they did. They were like, it sounds good to me. Like it's better than all of us doing it on our own, competing against each other and trying to build different names and all of that. Like let's just build one brand where people know no matter who they're going with, they're going to be taken care of.
right.
So that's kind of how it sparked, and then it morphed from there, man. Like we started meeting people and going to events and all of that, and then me and Javi started Marsh Fest because I got tired of looking up in Charleston at all the cool shit that they were doing, and I
Yeah,
was like, no one here is doing anything. Like the shops here, like I love them, but their shops they weren't in the event space. They didn't have time and the employees and the effort and the want to basically to do it. So me and Javi got together and I was like, look, man, like we have just as many people in the community. Like we all love some music. We all love the outdoors. We all fish. We all hunt. Like let's do something here. And I know in your episode, he kind of like dove into that. So I won't go too far into it. And then that started meeting more people.
yeah,
And so it built a community here. And well, we've been very fortunate, man. I'm very thankful for all the recreational anglers here. Like there's a lot of tension in a lot of areas between guides and like recreational fishermen. We don't there's some, but we don't really have that. Like if I see a guy in a creek, generally he comes out to our events. If he
yeah,
sees me with clients, we have a good interaction on the water because of that. Because we're all friends and we're all
yeah,
one community. Like I don't deserve it more than them, and vice versa. So I've been very fortunate, man, to have anything from like brands or local people really support us and get behind Historic Coast and encourage us in what we're doing. So we got a long way to go, but we're going on starting about year 3, and it's just kind of been a snowball effect. Not It's not a
yeah.
grind, but we've been very blessed. And I'm thankful for it.
And I think that like what you're saying about the community there, that's something that's like very rare. That you
Yeah,
guys have like you guys have built such a I said it to Hobby too. You guys have built such a tight knit community up there or down there, could I
yeah,
say? But
yeah,
dude, it's unbelievable to see. Dude, like I had Jaden on. I had um
yeah,
I had all those guys on. Dude, it's a huge community and it's so
yeah.
cool to see something like that to the point where it's like I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, so it's kind of hard to do, but it's like
Right.
you want to try and do something like that. And what else you said about having a good interaction on the water and with like for having that community, it promotes that. I've heard horror stories about other communities where it's like
Mhm.
guides are fighting
Yeah,
and all that stuff, and it's like, dude, damn, like that's nuts.
it's to me, man. It's an ego thing. Like
Oh
it's like a look at me thing. Like, and I maybe because I'm older now. I'm 41. And I've been through a lot of stuff that anglers deal with, but in the hunting industry. And I've
oh
told this on
gosh,
podcasts before, but early on, I was sitting outside a public land area one time, and I was sitting there waiting to go in and deer hunt, and this guy pulls up and parks in front of me, and he gets out, and he's got this big ass backpack on and his bow, and he's got a set of rattling horns in there that look like you'd be going to Montana or somewhere. And I'm sitting in my truck, and I'm like, what the hell's
yeah,
going
what the
on?
hell's
Like
going
this
on?
sucks. Like this guy's gonna go in here. He's gonna scare everything within 10 miles of me, and I got like mad, like mad.
Yeah,
And then like a light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, "You're getting mad at him for trying to enjoy the same things that you fell in love with and enjoyed." Now he may not be right in that. He just don't know any better. And
right.
I was like, "There was a point you didn't know any better. Someone had to teach you." And ever since that moment, it changed my entire perspective on the outdoors industry and people and how I look at it because you're a hypocrite if you're mad because someone else is doing the same thing that you love.
Right.
And
Exactly.
I get that there's shitty people out there, and I get, there's some bad apples, but you're gonna have those no matter what. And
Oh yeah.
if no one teaches them, they're always going to be like that. So my perspective on it was with doing these events and being involved in the community, even as a guide, is be nice to each other. If someone doesn't know, pull them to the side. Don't blast them online for holding a
Right.
fish the wrong way. They don't know. They're not doing it. Most times people aren't doing it out of trying to be harming something,
Yeah.
or they just, it's ignorance.
Yeah.
Right. So instead of going to the kid who's 16 and he's holding a fish by the lips the wrong way and hanging it, like instead of blasting him in an Instagram comment, catch him at the ramp or maybe slide him a message and be like, hey man, no harm, no foul. That's just not a good look. And explain to him why in a non like asshole tone,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
and be encouraging. And guess what? That kid's gonna learn from that. They're gonna take it a lot better than you dogging them or bashing them.
Yeah.
So it just kind of changed my perspective. And like you said, like our community has been awesome around here. Like
Oh yeah.
all the people have really got behind it. Like so much so that I hear from guys like you from different states, like there's a buzz about what's going on in Jacksonville and St. Augustine. And
Yeah.
it's a good buzz, and it's starting to spread. Like people are like, man, we want to do some stuff like that in our community. And I tell them like, we had no idea what we were starting. We just wanted, like, we joke, me and Javi's joke is you just got to give a shit a little bit. Like,
Right.
just a little bit. Like, you don't have to go out and put on the biggest festival in the US. You don't have to have 100 people there. Start a tying night, start a casting night, start a podcast, whatever you want to do, just start it. And if you do it with a genuine heart and a good attitude, people are going to migrate to that and they're going to get involved with it and they're going to want to be a part of that good vibe. So that's kind of my outlook on it, man. Like I think the saying is rising water, a rising tide raises all ships. So, it's better to work together, build a community. Like you can save it. We're big in conservation and protecting stuff. People can't protect what they don't know about.
Yeah.
If I don't take somebody and show them the marsh, it's not as important to them to save it as it is to me. But once they see it, even if they're not fishermen, getting the community involved and seeing those things will help protect it. And they can't
Oh
protect what they
yeah.
don't know about. So you can't gatekeep and just tell everyone they can't be a part of it. That
Right.
doesn't work out in our favor, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a cool thing though. Like I'm trying to navigate right now, doing a fly tying night at like one of the breweries around here, and
Hmm.
it's like it's kind of hard to gauge like if somebody doesn't have a vice, like what do you do? It's like I don't have the money to go out and buy $200 vices.
Yeah. So how we did that, like when we do it, we had like if you can round up 5, 10 people that they're gonna have a couple of ices. So you
Yeah,
bring them, and then or reach out to some companies like and be like,
yeah,
hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm not asking. Like I've been very big. Like I don't ask these people for stuff for free most of the time. I'm like, hey, I just want like a discount because this is what we're trying to do, or can you help with anything? And most people, like most companies, are willing to do something like that and help out. And like I said, even like when we first started these events and tying nights, like not Marsh Fest kind of snowballed from the beginning, but like we were doing like quarterly little events and get-togethers, and we still do. Like every one of them, I would stress on like, man, no one's going to show up to this. And then like we never had less than 40 or 50 people come to an event, like even on like a Tuesday night it was like, man, the need was here. Someone just had to give a shit to do it. Like, and you're gonna have people that hate on it and people that, oh man, these guys are just trying to do something. Yeah, whatever, dude. Stay over there miserable by yourself, bro. Like, don't
yeah.
come. Like, that's fine. Like, you don't have to be a part of it. But we're gonna do what we're gonna do, and we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna hang out with people that want to have fun,
Right,
and that's contagious. Like. No one wants to hang out with the miserable guy in the corner by himself, right? Like
right.
people are the community is what makes this culture is so special to me. Like, it's a very special community that we're in.
Oh yeah, dude. It's like I said, dude. It's awesome what you and Javi have done, and it's crazy, dude. Javi kind of downplays it, and it's cool
Yeah,
though.
I mean,
It's
we're
huge.
shocked. It's
Yeah,
we couldn't believe it. Like the first year we had like 450 people. Last year we had over 600, I think, and we're like we literally just threw it together with an email to some people like in about 3 months. Like
it's
we take no
unbelievable.
credit. Like it's the people here, dude. Like it has nothing to do with me and Javi. Like we just kind of corral everything, but it's the community here. Like it's not us, dude. Like they just people wanted to be involved. Like I said, like we look at Charleston, the tournaments and the casting drafts up there and all this
Yeah,
stuff. And like that, it's cool, man. People want to hang out with people that are like them.
yeah.
Like,
I saw.
eh,
I saw you guys did the Maggie Valley Fly Fishing Festival this year.
yep, we did. We went up there with Shannon and those guys that are in Maggie Valley Fly Shop and Taylor Far Four. I actually got we're lining up a hosted trip up there with her next year
Oh,
in
cool.
April to take a group up there because that was my first time ever trout fishing. And I'll be honest,
Yeah,
like I didn't think I was gonna like trout fishing. All my friends here make fun of me because I talked so much crap about it before. I was like, I just don't know if I'll get excited about a small little 8-inch fish, dude. Like I just don't know. And I went up there with an open mind, and I fell in love with it. Like it was, I've always enjoyed the mountains, but just the intricacies of trout fishing and like the setting and like the fish are beautiful. It was more of a peaceful thing for me. Like
Right.
I'm pushing a boat, most days, poling in soft mud, and it was nice to be able to stand in a little stream and just kind of relax.
Exactly.
So I fell in love with it. But Maggie Valley, the fest up there, I told him the same thing. Like he started it, and some of the guys up there don't. Some of them don't like it. Some of them do, and I was like, just keep doing your thing, man. The ones that do will outweigh the ones that don't. Trust me. Like it may take a couple years, but it will grow. You just provide a positive atmosphere, bring everyone together. Like invite other guides, invite your competitors. Like it doesn't matter. It's not about boosting ourselves. It's about bringing everyone together. Like our fest.
Right.
Like I invite other guides, we invite other freaking brands. Like Javi has a clothing brand. We invite tons of other brands. Like it's not about that. It's about community. So,
Right.
Shannon's doing a great thing up there. I think that's his second or third year doing it. If
Yeah, I
I'm
think it's his third.
correct, third year.
Yeah, I
And there was
think
a
so.
great crowd. There was a really good crowd. He had lots of cool vendors up there. Live bands, some food trucks, cool location down in the valley. Like you're literally sitting in Maggie Valley. So
Yeah.
that was really cool. But yeah, the fishing was awesome, man. I ended up catching a slam one of the days. So
Oh,
I
dang.
was I was pretty stoked about that.
That's fun.
The only thing I didn't get to do during that trip, I didn't get to catch any on dry flies. We tried, but it just like wasn't happening that those couple days. So I didn't get to do that, but we were using nymphs and stuff, and that was
Yeah.
really cool.
Like
So
you're kind of like Euro nymphing kind of thing.
we weren't Euro nymphing,
Okay.
and I'm not against it. So I don't know anything about trout until I went up there. Right,
Yeah.
this is my first time,
Dude.
so. Dude, and Taylor's big on Euro nymphing up there. Like that's a thing in like that area, I guess.
Yeah, it's
They like
huge up
it. And it makes sense to me, like in a sense, like, I have some friends out in like Montana and stuff and Colorado, and they're like, no, we don't do this stuff out here, like,
there. Yeah.
they're opposed to it. But for that area, how she explained it, it made a lot of sense to me,
Makes a
as
ton
far
of
as like the
sense for
depth
that
change.
area.
And to me, like, I'm like, it reminds me of using a cane pole when I was a kid. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of the same deal. You just got a line that tells you your depth. So when we go up, I think kind of we're gonna do. I was talking to her last week about it. I think we're gonna try to do like 3 days, and we're gonna do different stuff every day. Like one day a float trip, one day a wade trip, and then one day like maybe one day we won't use Euro rods or
Yeah.
whatever, and then the next day we will. That way it gives everyone like a blend to see what it offers up there.
Right. Whenever you get up there, shoot me a text, dude. I'm probably like 4 hours from up there if you need anything.
Okay. I think we haven't locked down the dates yet. I should have that the next week or so, and I'll be making a post trying to get people for those trips. But I think we're gonna do it in early April sometime.
That'll be a
So
good time to do it.
that's
Really
what she
good
was
time to
saying.
do
Like
it.
that's pretty par on. Then we'll be back up there again in May for the festival again. We're gonna definitely go back for that.
I'm probably gonna try and get up there. I was on the fence about it this year and just got busy that time of
Yeah,
year. I was on the
you,
fence about it this year. I'm probably definitely gonna go up there this year.
I I would, man. Like I said, I'm happy for him. Like he's got a good heart about it, and his reasoning for wanting to grow it's good.
Oh yeah,
So we're gonna support him as long as he does it.
it was kind of good to see him like come back from everything that happened during the hurricane. They were
Yeah,
borderline about to shut down, and
yeah,
he came right back from it. Had that,
hmm
and he's like, "We're back," and
yeah.
that was really cool to see. Really, really cool to see.
Yeah, that they were struggling this year because the fishing, like people
Yeah.
weren't coming up there, and because they thought the fishing was going to be ruined because of the hurricane. The fishing was fine. Like the
Oh
town
yeah.
had some rebuilding to do, but the fishing, like from talking to all them, like yeah, they had a little loss of fish and it affected a little bit. But when we were up there, man, I mean, there was no shortage of fish by any
Oh yeah.
means. Like it was very good fishing.
After that storm, the fishing that I did, I caught more quality like big fish than I ever have up there. And
Yeah.
I like to the point where like I was seeing pictures and videos on like social media of people just catching absolute just massive trout. And I'm like, this is insane. To the point where like I was like, I've never seen this many big trout caught in western North Carolina in my entire life. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But Historic Coast offers inshore, offshore, fly fishing, cast and blast, eco tours, and more. How do you guys balance all that wide range of experience, the wide range of experiences?
We kind of touched on it a little bit, but the guide team, like
Yeah.
each of my guys has a unique expertise. Like they can do it all. Every one of us can get in a boat. We could take you and catch trout, flounder, redfish. But there's some that lean a little bit more into certain methods or certain things they just like to do, and that makes it stronger as a team because we kind of lean on each other. So, for instance, like Captain Joey Presson, he taught majority of us to fly fish. That's his strong suit. He's a great fly tire, but he can also go out and wreck fish with a pop and cork and live bait or artificials or whatever you want to do. You got Mike Crawford, who he's good with a dog, the cast and blast stuff and fly fishing. Like his dog Charlie's pretty good dog, and clients like to see that on the cast and blast stuff, the Martians. We got Mike Keith, who we call him Pow Pow. If you ever listen to our podcast, his name's Mike
Yeah, I
Keith,
have.
but he's like the grandpa of the group, and he's the diversified kind of can slow down, cover water, and jack of all trades, so to speak. You got Jerry Supple, who's our menace of the group, man. He's the go-getter. He's the guy that, like, he's gonna wreck the boat to catch a fish for you, dude. Like whatever he has to do, he's gonna get you on fish. And we got a young cat named Carson Kent. He's really like dialed in on. He loves big fish. He targets like the bullfish that are here at night and like tarpon and stuff like that. So that's his specialty, throwing big freaking plugs and big jigs and all kinds of paddle tails and stuff like that. So we got kind of a diversified group. We got Captain Chris Schultz. He does our offshore stuff from him. Him and a guy named Christian Rodriguez. They both run offshore trips. So those are the deep water guys, and they also do a little bit of inshore fishing, but guiding wise, they like to do the
Offshore.
deep water stuff. So they're doing kingfish, cobia, snapper, mahi, tarpon, all those species. So they're hitting those anywhere from 20 miles, 15, 20 miles out to 80 miles, 100 miles. So those are long trips. Those are 12-hour days on the offshore stuff. So that's a little rougher.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are
Yeah,
long days, but those are generally meat hauls. We don't
yeah,
inshore, we don't advertise that we keep a lot of fish. We're not anti keep fish, but we generally don't keep redfish. If someone wants to keep fish inshore, we try to get them on like sheepshead or black drum or flounder or trout, something that's not as targeted and is beat on as much, as the redfish
oh
here.
yeah,
So we got kind of a diversified team. I don't think hopefully I didn't leave anyone out in that lineup, but that's the key to it. Like that was the goal, and that definitely helps target different things and helps keep everyone in tune, when everyone's
yeah.
kind of doing a little bit different thing.
Oh yeah, dude. I love y'all's podcast, dude. I listened to the one with Marsh Bum and then
Oh
Tavares.
yeah. Yeah.
The one with Marsh Bum's wild. I have
Jimmy is one of my favorite people in the community. He's just the guy that's always going to be a good time. He's going to support everyone in the community. He's just a really good guy. He's fun to fish with. He's not about the fish. He wants to crack a cold one and have a good time. He's
yeah,
not a guide or anything. So when he's out there, that's his relaxed time. And I love that. Like I love that. You don't have to be a serious angler to fish with me, dude. If you're on the boat with me, like if you're paying me as a guide, I'm gonna be serious. But if I'm out with my friends, dude, we're cutting up. I don't care if we catch fish. Like I just like having a good time with my friends.
yeah,
So me and him get along great. But yeah, he's got all kinds of fun stories.
yeah, dude. I have him coming on. I think in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's good.
Dude, I can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be a good one. We'll have to give you some side stories to ask him about.
Yeah, dude. Please, dude. Hobby's given me a couple, but
Yeah.
dude, like, yeah, I need some more.
Yeah.
I'm actually doing his outline this weekend. I think Sunday.
Okay.
But
Yeah, the podcast has been fun, man. Like we had talked about it for like a year and a half, and I'm a big I love podcasts of all sorts. So
yeah,
my thing was we were starting to meet so many people in the industry or at these events, or we're big live music guys, so we're talking music all the time. And I was like, I want to do a podcast about what we do, but I don't want it to be centered around just fishing. I want it to be
right.
fun because I deal with fishing and every day. So I was like, if we do it, I don't want it to be a fishing podcast. It could be a podcast that talks about fishing, but we didn't want to just be an outdoors podcast. So we've had musicians on, we've had authors on, we've had you name it, like just regular anglers from the community. Like you don't have to be a fishing pro. Like just anyone we found interesting was like a kind of the requirements. Like we just want to talk to our friends and selfishly to document it for when we're older. You're not going to remember every memory you have or everyone you meet along the way. But if we have something like this, like I was like, if people listen to it, cool. If they don't, cool. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
Like we're just doing it for us. And we didn't really have a format. We wanted to be like just sitting down talking. Like very rarely do we have like an outline or like any questions. Like it's every episode's off the whim. It's not edited. Like we just wing it. So and we
Yeah.
didn't know, And then at one of the events, we had somebody like probably like 5 or 6 people coming up to us one day and was like, "Hey, dude, I really did." People we didn't know, like we dig the podcast, and I was like, I didn't even know anyone knew we had a podcast. Like we, you know what I mean? Like we
Yeah.
dug it, so we just kept going with it, and it's been fun. And I was like, I'll do it until it's not fun anymore. As long as we keep
Yeah.
it fun and it's not work, then
Yeah.
if it gets to be that point, then I'll just stop doing it. But so far, it's been a blast, and it's been cool to hear people's stories and perspectives, and just and I think it's refreshing, like you're doing, bringing like regular, anglers on, people in the community, because like my friend Hunter has Captain's Collective, and then there's the Millhouse, like
Yeah.
those are like the serious fishing podcasts to get like the legend stories, in my opinion. Like I was on there, should never been on there. Like I had no place being on there. I'm just the guy starting out. But there's those podcasts are covered and they're done very well. So I didn't want to like duplicate that or try to like do anything similar to that. I was just trying to like whoever we find interesting, like whether they fish,
Yeah.
whether they hunt, whether they're a musician, or whether they're just an average Joe. Like they're welcome on as long as they're fun to talk to.
Like I think that's a big thing for a podcast. Like not too serious. Like it's that's I
Yeah,
don't edit any of mine unless somebody asks me to, and it's
yeah,
like not too serious. Talk about all sorts of things. Like there
yeah,
was one. I think Javi's. We talked college football for a little bit and all sorts of stuff. And that's what I like about y'all's is the music aspect. It's like I'm a huge music head,
yeah,
and it's like at the end of the day, we're all more than just fishermen. We
yeah.
all like
Absolutely.
different shit.
Yep.
And it's like we're not just fishermen. We like watching college football. We like listening to
Yeah. Go
music.
go dogs. I'm a Georgia
Yeah,
fan,
man.
so.
That's what I am too. My little sister went there, and
Oh, cool. Okay.
we go down to 1 or 2 games a year. We got tickets to the UNC Charlotte game this year,
Nice.
the week before Thanksgiving, and then last year we did. I know we did the Georgia Tech game last year, and then I forgot who we saw play the first time. Um, Never done any of the big games because they want way too much money for those
Yeah,
tickets.
the tickets are crazy for sure. They can
Yeah.
get pricey, but the game, it's just a different experience, Again, that's like it's a
Oh yeah.
community. Like being at those games is no different than a festival for us. Like it's a community of people who love football and there's a vibe to it and the tailgating and the whole thing, It's just a cool
It's so
experience.
much fun. And dude,
Yeah,
Athens is just a hell of a town.
it's
It's
a
so
cool
much
town.
fun.
It's changed a lot the last like 5 to 10 years. It used to be a little bit
Yeah.
more like country, small town feel, and now it's progressive, just like every other college town, I
Oh
guess.
yeah.
But I still love it. The
I do
campus is
too.
really cool. I've been a Georgia fan my entire life, so and I've lived around Gators. I'm surrounded by them. I live 30 minutes from Gainesville, so I'm surrounded by nothing but UF fans. So
Yeah. That's kind of what I was like and when I was living in Ocala, and it's like I go sit down at like a bar wearing like a Georgia polo to watch a game on a
yeah,
Saturday, and people are like looking at me talking shit. I'm like,
yeah,
man, tell me the last time y'all won a national championship.
yeah. But I remember all the years when that's all they had. Like my all my friends growing up, like I lived through the Spurrier years, I
Yep.
lived through the Tebow years, so like we just got our ass beat the whole time. Like we we got it was some terrible years, and I had one roommate and like lifelong friend when I was in my 20s, and dude, I'd wake up like in the morning. And it'd be like 4 months after the Florida Georgia game when they beat the crap out of us, and I would open like the drawer to get like a spoon out, and there'd be like a newspaper clip with a score on it and crap. Like they would hide them, like like
Oh
so. Now I'm really enjoying like the good years,
yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
gonna be an
definitely.
interesting year.
Yeah, I don't know how the NIL stuff's going to affect college football for the better or the worse. I'm not a fan of it. Like I'm a fan of the kids
Not
getting
me either.
paid, but I'm not a fan. I think they should get paid because they bring a lot of money into those schools. But I'm
Yeah.
not a fan of them transferring 45 times if they don't get their way. Like there should be
Yeah.
some kind of cap, but I mean, who knows where that's going to go.
There were some kids this year that it's like you look like I follow like On3 recruiting, and it's like
Mm.
they follow all the kids through college, and it's like some of them are at 5 and 6 schools,
Yeah,
and it's
that's
like
crazy.
it's nuts. And then you had the kid at Utah, Cam Rising, that wanted like a 7th year of eligibility because he got hurt last year. It's like, dude, you're 40 years old. Like, go work
Yeah,
in finance or something,
do
dude.
something else. Yeah, get it moving,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. It's like, dude,
Yeah,
you can't beat up on 18-year-olds for much
nah,
longer.
yeah.
But so what's your typical inshore skiff or bay boat trip look like from like target species to client experiences, stuff like that?
So most of we offer 4 or 6 hours in most cases. You know, a lot of places do full days. Here, we're very tide dependent. So most of the time, you can get it done in 4 or 6 hours. And you don't have to keep them out there all day. And unless they're a hardcore
Right.
angler and they want to book a full day, we do offer those. But most of them are gonna be 4 or 6 hours. It all depends on what you're looking for. Like we do everything. A lot of people think we're fly fishing only because of our media and because of like the groups we're kind of in, like, industry wise. But we're not. Like, I'll do a live bait trip with shrimp on a jig head or a popping cork. So it really depends on the day. But starting out, like, we'll get into fly fishing mostly because that's what we love to do the most. And that's what we do a lot of. Our busy season is the flood tide stuff. The flood
Yeah.
tide and cast and blast, that's rolling in summer through fall. So those trips you go out, we generally get out there about 30, 45 minutes early before we're going to start fishing and let the people see like the tide coming in, filling in the grass. Like you could tell people about it, but until they experience it, they don't really get the picture.
Right.
It's a visual thing. Um, Super, bright green grass, good day if it's sun's out. I mean, it's there's nothing prettier. So we get out there, watch the stuff come in, and then you get up and start pulling across these grass flats, and you're looking for tailors. You're looking for tailors or slurpers. That's what we call them. They're gonna be doing one of those two things. They're either gonna be head down in the grass, tail up, waving at you, and they're eating crabs, they're eating grasshoppers, they're eating snails, they're eating bait fish, all this stuff on these areas that normally don't get water on them. So you start pulling around looking for those fish, or you'll hear like a pop. Like if you're familiar with snook fishing at all, like how the sound of like a
Yeah.
snook pops when it eats. It's not quite like that as loud, but it's similar. There's a popping sound. You can see them munching stuff on top of the water and they'll float around kind of like humping. And they're eating stuff off top. Boom, boom, boom. So you're looking for one of those two things. So everything's very visual. Kind of we can get fairly close to them. So a lot of fly fishing, in Florida, like Mosquito Lagoon, Destin, Tampa, those fish can be a little spookier. They're in clear water. It's a little tougher. Our fish are willing to eat, and you can get fairly close to them. So it's great for beginners. Someone starting out with a fly rod, they can cast 15, 20 feet. In most cases in a flood, we can get it done 15 foot. Occasionally we need
Yeah.
a little more, but so it's great for beginners. So those trips are, if someone's coming in the first time they're fly fishing, or coming like some of the trout guys that can't double haul and don't know that trout set real bad, we're going to start them out on a flood tide if possible, if they can come down that time of year, because it's a little bit easier on them. The other trips we do for fly fishing are the low tide stuff, which is on the complete opposite end of the tide. So here we get about anywhere from 4 to 6.5, 7 foot of tide swing every 6 hours. So on one end, where the water's super high, flooding the grass. The other end, there's no water. The creeks are draining out, and it's pushing those fish out to a certain point. So those fish are very visual. They're crawling on mud banks. They're pushing shrimp. They're pushing bait fish. They're working with spoonbills and herons, feeding. So you'll see them working together. And when I say that, like you'll see the bird walking the bank, and you'll see the back of the fish with the bird walking. And the bird
Yeah.
is following the fish because the fish is pushing bait. You'll see shrimp flying up
Oh
out of the
man.
water, right? And
Yeah.
those birds are walking, working. So everything for fly fishing is very visual. And people sometimes get confused, like, how can y'all sight fish with dirty water? I'm like, because we're actually seeing the fish. We're not looking at the fish in the water like the lagoon or like Tampa or those areas. We're actually seeing the fish out of the water. You're seeing their backs, you're seeing their tails, you're seeing
Yeah.
their eyes, you're seeing them bust stuff. So that's kind of those kind of trips. The bait stuff, we're going out, we're hitting deeper holes, we're hitting docks, we're hitting structure, we're hitting rocks. You're using stuff that gets down deeper water. You're using artificials or maybe some hard lures, jerk baits, stuff like that. So that's a little different. You're on the trolling motor on those. That's more for your tourist who's coming in, your average fisherman that throws a spinning rod, or maybe
Yeah.
some kids who are just getting into fishing. We go out and make it easy on them. Put some live shrimp on a popping cork. Pretty much anybody can do that, no matter their experience level. So that's kind of the variation between those trips. The other thing with the flood tide stuff is the cast and blast we do. We mix in the Martian hunting during that season.
Yeah.
That goes from September 1st to November 9th. So that while you're looking for those tailing redfish in the grass, you're going to flush up those Martians. They're actually called king or clapper rail, and that's actually kind of how flood tide fishing started. Was because people in the marsh walking the flats hunting those birds and happened to find the fish. So you do that. We have retrieve dogs, a few of us. So those are kind of the breakdowns of the different trips we do. You can get into flounder, you can get into trout, and all of those specialty things. But there's different methods for each of them, so we ain't got time to cover every one of those. But
Yeah.
that's kind of like the synopsis of our inshore trips, for the most part.
Yeah. I think my microphone is actually sitting on a massive box of Martian feathers that I use to like tie parachutes. They're tail fibers. But
Yeah, they're a cool bird, man. People, the question I always get is how do they taste? And they're good. They're not, it ain't fine dining, but they're
yeah,
not. They're edible and they're tasty, depending on how you cook them. A few different ways you could do them. Like we do them in like jalapeno poppers wrapped up with
yeah,
bacon and like sour cream. They're good like
so
that.
good.
Some people like to shred them up, put them in a crock pot with like a rice and gravy. So that's another way you could do them. Some people put them on and roast them kind of like you would a chicken, like a whole chicken, and then put like barbecue sauce on them and stuff, or not barbecue sauce, hot sauce and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and do them kind of like a wing. So there's a few different ways you could do them, but they're definitely good to eat. I mean, we can kill 15 per person, and during those seasons, so we don't normally limit out every time. We get enough for you to eat. You don't want to freeze them and stuff,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean they're definitely fun to hunt. They're
yeah,
good for like an entry level kids, people just like to get into wing shooting. If you're an advanced duck hunter, they're going to be a little bit easier for you to shoot. They're not nearly as fast as ducks or anything like that. But they can be tricky because they kind of flush up and flutter for a minute. So like you have to wait for them to flush up. Obviously, you can't shoot them on the water, but that's when they're hard because they're moving all over the place. Now once they get up and go and take off, they're a little trickier. They
yeah,
do get some speed to them then, but it's kind of like a diesel engine. It takes a minute for them to get
yeah. Get
revved up
going.
and going. Yeah,
But yeah, so they don't taste quite like a merganser, but they also don't taste like a really good mallard.
correct. Yeah, yeah, that's a good analogy. They're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle. It's not a coot or a merganser, but
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
also a mallard or a teal.
yeah.
Yeah, I love duck hunting.
I
It sucks here, dude, because it's like there's so little water to hunt here in Charlotte. Like you can go
mm.
to Norman and battle like 8,000 people, and it sucks.
I'm not a duck hunter. Pal Pal Captain Mike Keith, he does run some duck trips, but he doesn't do it here. He goes to the Gulf over that area and a little bit south of here.
Yeah,
But to me, if I can't get any more hobbies. That's the problem.
yeah,
So
that's where I'm at right now.
I turkey hunt and I fish right now, and I'll occasionally deer hunt, and then we do some like quail stuff,
Yeah,
stuff like that. But I can't. I have some friends that go out west and duck hunt, and that looks like something I'd be interested in. Where you're seeing like tornadoes of ducks,
yeah,
but in
dude.
Florida, dude, like I'm not going and sitting in the marsh at 2 in the morning. I don't like cold weather as it is. I'm a
Yeah,
Floridian, so I'm not going and getting wet and waking up and doing all that to shoot three freaking ducks or however many.
yeah.
I don't even know. I don't know nothing
It's
about duck, but I'm not doing it for however many ducks we can shoot in Florida. I can tell you that.
yeah,
Like
it's the same
it's
thing
a
here.
it's a no for me.
Dude, like I was hardcore into it. I went to East Carolina, out towards like Hyde County, and
Hmm.
it's some of the best duck hunting in the southeast. And I was spoiled for like the 4 years I was in college. We were hunting like almost every morning of the week, like late to class, running in waders. But like I got back here and I'm like, man, I want to keep duck hunting. I want to keep duck hunting. And it's like I did it hardcore, like around here, trying to find walk-in spots and stuff like that for like
Hmm.
a good 5 6 years. And finally, like one day, I went in, I fell in, and my buddy's like, "Oh shoot, you good?" I'm like, "You know what, boys?" I was like, "I'm done with this,
That's
man." I
it.
was like,
Yeah.
"Fuck." I was
Yeah,
like, "Dude,
dude.
It's
It's I hear these guys and all they talk about and like the prep and like sleeping in their trucks and it being 19 degrees and then they show me fucking three ducks and I'm like,
yeah,
no way. It
yeah.
just ain't happening, dude. My
Fuck
time is
that, dude. It's
too
like
valuable these days, dude.
exactly, and it's like that's
So,
what I hunt like a little private piece of like deer hunting property that my buddy's dad's a land developer, so it's like stuff that they're not developing. They let me they let me deer hunt it,
oh,
and then
cool.
turkey hunt the same thing. So it's like
Nice.
I've been doing that and fishing more. It's like, man, if you're gonna wake me up at 2 o'clock to go duck hunting, it's like I'm sleeping in, man. Like I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I had like a buddy.
If you could be the show up guy 30 minutes before daylight, I'm there. Like I'll do
Yeah,
that. But
exactly.
I'm not getting out there and setting up the spread, sitting there for 3 hours, freezing my ass off,
Yeah,
and doing all that, dude. I don't care how good of a breakfast you cook in the blind. I don't care. Like,
yeah.
no, it's just not happening.
I had a buddy this year do like every weekend. He's like, "Yo, you want to go duck hunt? You want to go duck hunt?" I'm like, "No, dude, I don't. I
Yeah,
don't."
actually, I don't.
Yeah, dude, it's like I got so much better shit to do. It's like,
Yeah,
the 11 o'clock game is Georgia, Alabama. I'm not
yeah.
going duck hunting until
Way
after
cooler
2 hours. Yeah,
way cooler than two coots or mergansers or buffles or whatever you're gonna
exactly.
shoot. The freaking in that couple hours you're out there freezing to death.
Exactly. It's like, dude, I'm gonna sit
Yeah,
on my ass, drink 10 beers, and watch college football all day.
yeah,
I'm sorry,
for sure.
but dude, yeah, it's crazy. Turkey hunting, man. They cut the first 2 weeks of South Carolina turkey season this year, and that's when we killed most of our birds.
Mm.
This first 2 weeks kind of sucked. I hope they don't do it again next year. But Historic Coast teaches clients about local history, wildlife, and ecosystems. How do you weave conservation into every outing, you think?
We start with it up front most of the time. Like I talk to every client that books with us, unless they go direct to one of the guys and like a repeat client. But if a new
Yeah.
client's coming to fish with us, they start with me, and then I divvy them out to the guys. And I interview them, not interview, but I'm like, hey, what's your goal? Like what do you
Yeah.
want to do on the trip? And I try to lead with that up front because there's still plenty of guys around here who feel the need to stack the cooler to get trips. And I've only been doing this for years, and I'm not saying I'm an expert, and I'm not saying I'm the authority, but those guys that believe that you have to fill the cooler every trip to book trips are flat out wrong. Like, couldn't be further from the truth. And I've seen it here. I've seen it in our business. There's a couple older guides here who kind of are the OGs of the sight fishing stuff. And I talk to them. Neither one of them keep fish, and they're booked out more than anyone else in town. So when I talk to these people, I kind of ask them like, "Hey, what's your goal? You want some fish to eat?" If they say yes, I'm like, "Okay, well, here's what we can do. We can catch this, or this, and these are the times of year we could do it. And there's plenty of those fish around, and we're not going to hurt the population. But if you want to keep redfish, occasionally I might let someone keep one. They can
Yeah.
keep one per person here. And I explain to them like, hey, here's the reason why. Like the growth of our counties have freaking boomed since COVID. Everyone's moving to Florida.
Oh
People
yeah.
are moving here to be on the water. I mean, that's the beauty of living in Florida, right? And then so people are getting out there and they're catching all these fish, and we're seeing a decline. And a lot of the bait guys and your hole guys and all that, they don't see it as much, right? Because they're just hitting holes. They don't actually see the piles of fish. But the sight fishing guys and the fly guys, like we could see a school of 50 fish in a creek, right?
Yeah.
Well, we could watch that school of 50 fish get hammered in a couple months, and that group go down to 50 to 30 to 40 to 20 to whatever,
Yeah.
and you see the impact of it. It's undeniable. You can't tell me that those fish are just randomly disappearing and it's not people catching them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I try to start that up front. I try to educate them on why. Hey, here's why we can't, because these fish are, everybody in the area loves redfish. They're the most fished for fish inshore here by far. It's not even close. They're the most targeted. We're starting to see a decline in numbers, and we would like to keep it good for you guys to be able to come fish again and our kids to be able to grow up fishing here before it's too late. Like the problem with the outdoors, people want to react instead of get ahead of it. So
Yeah.
we kind of took on that from the beginning. Like I said, we're not anti keep fish, but I try to educate them up front on the phone. And if they say, hey, I want to catch as many as I can, I'm like, cool, that's fine. Here's XYZ guides. they'll be more than happy to take you. Go with them
Yeah.
because it's not worth booking a trip to me to for the end result to be just to demolish our fishery. You know, I
Yeah.
want it to withstand. I want my kids to be able to do it. And like I said, I'm old school, dude. I grew up country. I grew up. My dad, like, I had to change his mind. You know, over the years, like he's seen me and listened to me, and he was the guy who filled the cooler. You know, we grew
Yeah.
up in the country. We cook what we freaking kill. You know, so fishing, you did it for a purpose. But nowadays, people like that whole line I fish or I hunt to feed my family is the biggest crock of shit I've
Oh
ever
yeah.
heard.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
you might hunt and feed your family, but you don't hunt or fish to feed your family with the cost of all we spend on hunting and fishing. The rods, the reels, the licenses, the lures, the baits, the all that you can eat filet mignon every night of
Yeah.
the for the rest of your life and never hunt or fish again. So don't tell me you do it to feed the family. Just,
Right.
like we have to wake up as a community and realize like we're losing land, we're losing habitat, there's more people like if we love this, it's you got to protect it now, or it's gonna be
Exactly.
gone.
If it's brown, it's down. It's a big crock of shit too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I grew up in dog hunting world. You know what I mean? Like those guys, a lot of them, they're shooting whatever. And I used to be that way. I'm not holier than thou, and I don't beat up on those guys because that's how I was
Right.
raised. But fly fishing got me into conservation. I'll be honest. Like until then, I kept every redfish that I could legally. I didn't, do a lot of outlaw shit. But
Yeah.
before I got it, hog hunting stuff, I was a little bit of an outlaw. Don't trust the government. They ain't gonna tell me what I can keep. But fly fishing changed all that. Literally, fly fishing woke me up to conservation. If it wasn't for fly fishing, I probably would still be one of those guys. But getting in there and seeing the effect on those fish and seeing the pressure and seeing the numbers, you can't deny it if you're honest with yourself. Now you can lie and go, "Oh, don't matter. I still go catch plenty of fish." It's like, well, I'm not saying I can't catch fish. I'm just saying I see a difference in the fish we're catching and the amounts and the numbers and how they're acting. So
Yeah. And I
I try to nip all that in the bud up front with clients.
that's good though too, because it's like I think you see that happening like all along the East Coast, Southeast, I should say.
Yeah.
Dude, like all the way from Florida up until literally like Virginia. I mean,
Hmm.
redfish are just getting hammered all up and
Hammered.
down the East Coast.
I mean,
I
all the way
mean,
over to Louisiana, man. My buddy Ty
yeah,
Hibbs is big on the conservation front over there. He's a hell of a guide. And when I went out with him over there a few years ago, the first time I fished Louisiana is probably like 4 years ago or so now, I think. Maybe a little, I don't know. But anyway, I went over there and they had the freaking bow hunting guys or the bow fishing guys that would trap these schools of redfish in a bay with their boat, like literally turn the boat sideways, these airboats, and pin them in these bays
oh,
and just go to town on them. And I'm like, you're shooting fish at night under a light with a bow and arrow, bullfish at that. Like, those are the breeders. Why on earth
yeah,
would you?
what the
And
fuck?
again, I just don't get it. And it's again, it's not. I think it's an ignorance thing, just like the community stuff. Those people, they just don't know any better. They were raised like
Right.
that. They were raised you kill, what you eat, what you kill, and it's just a mindset. And I think it's slowly gonna change. But I mean, it's still there's those guys out there that think there's nothing wrong with it, and it's they're right. and
Yeah,
and I get that to an extent, but it's like, all right, when your rights affecting what I love too, then we got to talk. Like,
yeah,
there's got to be a middle
exactly.
ground somewhere. Like I said, I'm not the anti everything guy, but I
Yeah,
think there does need to be conversations, and I think the younger crowd coming up is seeing that. A lot of the guys around here that are gotta freaking keep everything are a little bit of the older crowd. They've been doing
right.
it that way since the freaking 70s. And someone that was born, in the 80s and only been doing this a little bit, they ain't gonna listen to me. And that's fine. They don't have to. But I
Yeah,
try to talk reason and some sense and be, cool about it. So hopefully we'll see a change. Around here we're starting to see it with the community growing. We see the effects of that. And that's another thing about building your community. You have to start the change that you want to see. As
right.
cheesy as that is to say, but if they get around an event where there's 40, 50 people there and all the people there are talking about keeping fish and, or protecting fish and protecting the resource, a light bulb goes off to, man, there must be something to this. There's no way this whole community is following this trend and it'd be wrong, most of the
Right.
time. So it's starting out one person at a time. Like Ty Hibbs' thing was let a fish go, let one fish go per trip that you wouldn't normally have. Just let one.
What's that Instagram count? It's like release everything over 20.
Release over 20. It's a
Yeah.
trout program.
Yeah, that's a Trout program. That's what it is. I
Yep.
thought that was a red thing too.
No, that's trout, and that's I mean it's very good. Like yeah, release over 20. Those are the breeders of your trout. We got a really good speckled trout fishery here. We get some monster trout.
Oh yeah.
But and you're allowed to keep one. I think it is over 20 right now. Don't quote me on that. I should know that, but I'm pretty sure it's one over 20. And you shouldn't keep any over 20 in my opinion. Those are the breeding fish. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. It's one of
stuff
those
like that.
things, dude. All the like from you guys all the way to Mosquito Lagoon. Though I mean that trout fishery is insane, and there's that one part of Mosquito Lagoon like. I don't really like letting it out there because I still know a lot of people,
Yeah,
but
don't let that out.
you know which one I'm talking about.
I have a
The-
good idea what you're
yeah,
thinking. So,
yeah, and dude, but it's like the freaking trout population in there is insane, and it's
yeah,
crazy because it's like they open one floodgate, and it's like they'll all just stack up in where that floodwater's coming out from. It's
yeah,
insane.
yeah.
It is
There's a lot of
insane.
places like the Gulf side of Florida over there, like your Big Bend area, Nature Coast. There's great trout
Yeah,
fishing over there too. So, we got a little bit better, like you better chance of keeping trout here. Rather people keep them than redfish. They're a little not targeted as much.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean that's my thing on conservation, man. Like we're gonna do a podcast with Travis Thompson of All Florida Org
yeah,
soon because my thing on conservation is this: I don't ever want to be the guy that just spews something that somebody else says and I don't know what I'm talking about. Like I want to be well versed in conservation and protect what we can, but I don't want to be the guy that's just repeating stuff. And when someone
yeah,
truly asks me why, I want to be able to tell them in depth why I believe the way I do, the details of it, not just the basis and the keywords and the catchphrases and
yeah,
the stuff that a lot of these conservation groups are throwing out. So I told him, I said, I want to sit down with you and kind of learn more and go into a deep dive of conservation for dummies, of how it works,
yeah,
because it's a lot of people just think it's an email. You're fighting against them
yeah,
sending an email, which emails help. But there's a lot of these meetings and stuff that takes place in Tallahassee, for instance, for us, that no one shows up to, man. Like you got to be in the room, from what I learned, to make a difference, a major
yeah.
difference. And they sneak a lot of that stuff by us. So I'm trying to learn more about conservation and in depth, like what it takes with the people who pass these bills and the people who are making the decisions. And it's not just as easy as just getting rid of all the bad, like big sugar. It's not. They go away. Those fields become houses. It's not. They're
Oh
not just
yeah,
giving the land to conservation.
dude.
So it's a fine line of all of that mess. And I'm like I said, I'm not an expert in it. I'm just now starting to learn because I do want to be able to talk about it and sound educated and not just repeat the things that everyone's posting online that's a trend. And it's like it's a good
Yeah,
trend, but it's only good if it's actually making a difference and these people know what they're talking about. They're not just because when they go to try to tell somebody and they get stumped, that doesn't look good either. That's not
oh
helping
yeah,
the fight.
exactly.
So I want to get better, but I feel like these days like conservation is a catchword. Like
Oh yeah,
it's a freaking buzzword, and everyone just throws it around, and a lot of them aren't even picking up trash off the water. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
you're preaching all this stuff on social media, but you ride by trash in the marsh, or you see trash in, you know what I mean? Little stuff like that. Like be a difference maker. Don't be just an
Yeah,
Instagram poster, because it's the cool thing to do to be about conservation. Like live
exactly.
that shit every day. Like it's more than a freaking hashtag.
Yeah. It's like they'll post that on Instagram, but then they'll cut their leader off and toss it in the water.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, plastic bottles. Like we're
Yeah,
all gonna consume stuff, and it's gonna happen. But you got to be more mindful of like what you're actually living, other than just
exactly.
preaching, because that's what makes the difference, man. That Instagram post helps to an extent, but living it in real life and people seeing you live that, it's a whole another world.
Whole different story. And it's the same
Yep.
thing, and I think a lot of people get misconstrued that it's like, oh yeah, we're just talking about fish and ducks and deer and stuff like that. It's like, no, we're
Mhm.
talking about turtles and shit too. It's
Everything,
like, cause dude, turtles are getting
bugs.
declined everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
bugs.
Insects,
They're,
birds. I mean, you
yeah,
name it. Anything to do with the outdoors, man. And they're constantly trying to sell off public land, and like once that's gone, it doesn't come back. The concrete buildings don't go away.
no,
And it's crazy. I was actually listening to a Joe Rogan episode today with a guy from one of the meat eater groups about this big bill with the public land sales stuff, and
oh
like,
my gosh,
Man, there's so much behind the scenes stuff that people don't see, and it's all money, man. It comes down to money. Like
Oh yeah.
it's been happening since the 1800s. Like I just finished a good book. It's called The Swamp by Matt Grunwald or something like that, I think his name is. But it's a really
Uh-huh.
good book, and it's about the Everglades. And it talks about Flagler from St. Augustine. Like Flagler's praised as building all these communities and towns, right, and
Yeah.
running his railroad and getting stuff. Well, he did all that shit because he was trying to get to the Everglades, like to get to that land down there to claim that land.
Yeah.
He built the towns and the railroad along the way because it benefited him for progress movement. He didn't do it because he was a good person, like the schools he built and all of that.
Yeah.
Like if you read these books, like and so in a way, it's like, man, we've been fighting this since Florida was developed originally. Like they've been
Right.
coming for it, and it's just going to get worse. And they're throwing billions and billions and billions at, and it's everybody. Like the fishing community, in my opinion, like misses the mark a lot of times because they don't think about the hunters, they don't think about the farmers, and
Exactly.
that's just as important as the fishing. Like we can't protect just fishing. Like I had a guy tell me when the Amendment 2 stuff was going around, they were voting for that no one's coming for hunting and fishing, man. Like you don't have to worry about that. And I was like, I can't talk to you about this anymore because you only see it from a fishing perspective. You've never had somebody come try to strip your hunting rights away where I've seen it
Exactly.
for years with dog hunting and those sort of things. Like up in Virginia, the bear hunters were the first ones to get hit. Guess what? Back then, everyone's like, "Oh, it's just the bear hunters. They're not going to come for the still hunting, and they're not going to come for this." Well, guess what? That all trickles. It starts there, and they're not coming
Yep.
just for that. They're coming for every aspect of the outdoorsman.
Oh
And
yeah.
if you don't see that, like farmers, I would much rather it be farmland than I would anything else. Like there's not, a bunch of potash. You have to worry about fertilizers and chemicals and things like that from farmlands, but that's better than a housing development being
Or a
there.
golf course.
So, or a golf course. So there's way more to this thing than people think, and that's why I said like
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to get more well versed in it, and I don't speak on it a lot, and I don't post a lot of stuff on our socials about it, like badgering people with it, because I don't want to be that guy. I'd rather have conversations like this,
Right.
and one-on-one conversations that's how you're gonna flip people's mind. Like, those posts only do so much.
Oh yeah. And it's crazy. It's like, all it takes for somebody to see what's going on in Florida right now, literally take a drive down I-75 right through right through Central Florida.
Yep.
Down from like Gainesville all the way down to Orlando, even
Yeah.
farther. And you will see what is absolutely happening.
It's funny you say that because where I go to go down to ICAST this week or whatever, I drive through like the Ocala National Forest. I don't go to the interstates. I just cut down the
Yeah.
middle. So from my end until you get to the forest, development at
Yeah.
every angle. You go through the forest. It's all protected. It's all good. It's how Florida should be. You get just south of a Ocala National Forest, and all those orange groves. I used to hog hunt all the land down there, the
Yeah.
farmland. It's
Gone.
housing developments. It's literally
Gone.
miles and miles and miles of on those hills, you see driving, you can look
Yeah.
in the horizon and it's nothing but houses, dude. Like
Yeah.
I was shocked, man. I was like, it's from every angle, the
Oh yeah.
development is just it's out of control.
Oh yeah. Dude, it's like right after like we used to go me and my uncle went to the Daytona 500 3 years in a row. And it's like, that ride, it's the same thing. Essentially, like you go
Hmm.
past Daytona up to St. Augustine, same thing.
It's
You're going through the
houses.
Ocala National Forest. Right before it,
Yeah.
right after it, it's just houses,
It's
houses.
it's out of control.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, but again, I mean, hey, you live in a house, right? I live in a house.
Yeah, I live in an apartment.
It's
Same
I
thing.
mean, okay, yeah, you know what I mean? Like you can't be anti-development. You
No.
can't. It's not going to stop. It's learning how to manage it and protect what's here. You got to work with those guys as well. So, like I said, there's so much to that, man, and there's so much money behind it. It's going to be a constant battle for the rest of our lives. It's not going to
Oh
stop
yeah.
anytime soon. So
It's sad to watch down there too, because it's like
it's
when we were younger, we lived in Lake Mary. My dad, we lived in Lake Mary for work, and it's like going out there and driving those roads like through old Florida. Not really Lake Mary. Lake Mary's always been kind of like developed, but it's like
yeah, the outskirts though.
yeah, like the outskirts, like Apopka, Howie in the
Hmm.
Hills, all that
Yeah,
stuff. It's like, dude, Howie in the Hills is freaking insane now. Essentially, like you got all those like old age developments,
Yeah.
and I think that's
55 plus communities, man, everywhere.
everywhere.
There's need to be this many of them. There's that many people. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's like,
you know, and it's the
dude.
people moving down here from up north. You know, I
Yep,
mean,
it's nuts.
yeah, it's sad sometimes. Like I got done with that book, The Swamp, and like I got defeated, man. I was like, we're not gonna do anything. Like it's never ending. Like we're not making a difference, you know. But at the same time, I'm like, you just gotta keep fighting. Like you can't give up because then it will,
Yeah.
go away. But it's like, man, they've been fighting. They like ever since the Native Americans, they got pushed
Oh yeah.
out. So it's like reading all that stuff. It's like, man, this has been never ending of man. Just how many times like the Everglades been they've tried to fill it in and proposed to like literally haul in dirt and fill in areas and build on it is
Yeah.
insane. I
Insane.
mean, and it's been the right or the left. It doesn't matter which way you've leaned politically or none of that. It's both
It's
of them. They
it's
both fucking
happened.
suck.
It's happened every. I swear, it's like every administration has tried to absolutely fuck with the
Yeah,
Everglades somehow.
it's just
Somehow.
it's a political beach ball that just gets bounced back and forth, dude. Like,
Exactly.
all right, we can entertain these conservationists for a little bit just to give them just enough hope to back us, and then they're sliding bills in with their buddies and trying to back in stuff, and
Yeah.
it's a mess, dude. It's but again, like I think with the public land thing that just hopefully it got shot down, where they're not going to sell our public lands off. I think more and more people are like starting to get sick of it,
Yeah.
thankfully. So
It got shot
hopefully,
down. It got shot down, but they're opposing new shit now that's really gonna fuck with like public land still. And
yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, you're gonna go for this,
Hmm.
and so we're gonna do this, or we're gonna lobby to have this done, and it's just gonna fuck it up even more. But it's like
Yeah. It
that's
it
how
takes
it's gonna
everyone,
be.
man. Like I said, I'm trying to learn more. I'm trying to get more educated on it so I can actually like speak with confidence and make
Yeah.
a difference. But there's so many layers to it. I mean, it's not an easy game. It's definitely a long term move.
Oh yeah. So have you guys had any cool clients book with you guys yet, like athletes or celebrities or anything?
Um, the coolest guy was this is a cool story. So I was on the Captain's Collective podcast, my buddy Hunter, like I said earlier, and a gentleman named Rob Beckner heard me on that. And this was like right when I started running trips. I launched Historic Coast. I mean, I was brand new. I'd been fishing for years, but I just started officially guiding, got my license, and I decided this is what I'm gonna do. So he calls me and he says, "Hey, I heard you on the podcast. I really like your perspective and outlook. Your area sounds really cool." They were from down around like Mims, and he goes, "I would like to book a day with you, and I want to know if I could bring a friend with me." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. It includes two people. They want to do a cast and blast."
Yeah.
So he makes the comment that me and my friend have been fishing, fly fishing, particularly and wing shooting, for many many years, and we're going to make it easy on you, and kind of laughed. And I was like, okay, whatever, like who
Yeah.
says how good they are? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but whatever. So the day comes around and he texts me and he's like, hey, man, I'm running about 30 minutes late. And in my mind, a flood tide, like you're very tide dependent. Like every
Yeah.
minute counts. And in my mind, I'm like, shit, this is one of my first trips. Like I'm thinking of plan B, C, D. Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to make the adjustment to not have enough water for the rest of this trip? It's going to cut us a little early. So I was just running through my mind. So he pulls up and he's like, "Hey, we're here." So I walk up to the parking lot to meet him, and I look in the passenger seat, and I was like, "Man, that looks like Flip Pallet in the passenger seat." And I was like, "There's no way it's Flip Pallet, like
Yeah.
whatever." And he opens the door, and it's fucking Flip Pallet.
Holy
And
shit.
I was like, "Oh my god!" Like in my mind, like I'm freaking out, dude. Like I'm like, I never thought at this point in my life and career that I would even get to meet Flip Pallet, much less have him on my skiff and guide him, right?
Yeah.
So I walk up to him and he gets out, and I tried my hardest to act like I didn't know who he was, to be cool, like shake, hey, I'm Captain Justin, and he goes, hey, Justin, I'm I'm Flip. Nice to meet you. I'm looking forward to being on the skiff with you today, and that was like one of my first guide trips ever. So
Oh
I got
my
to guide
gosh.
him, yeah, on a cast and blast. He shot a bunch of birds. He didn't really care about slinging a rod too much. He was like, Rob, you fish. I just want to shoot some birds and enjoy this, and like the whole trip, it was exactly what you would think Flip Out would be. He talked about like the pine trees on Guana Preserve here, how those are like natural Florida
Yeah.
pines, not the planted farm pines. And he was pointing out things about birds and like grass and like everything that you would think he would be. He was, and more. And so that was like one of my first legit guide trips. Like, was him showing up, and I'm kind of glad he didn't tell me ahead of time, because I would have really freaked out. But
Yeah.
we had a heck of a trip. They shot a good bit of birds, caught some fish, and conditions weren't great that day, and I worked my absolute ass off. And he recognized that, and it was very cool. And actually, it's kind of funny that you asked that because I just ran into him at ICAST again this week, and I walked up to him. I was, "Hey, Flip, how you doing, man? Good to see you." And I was like, "I'm not sure if you remember me." And he paused and he was like, "Yeah, what was that? About 3 years ago, I came down or I
He
came up and
remembered you.
fished with you." Yeah, and I was
That's
like,
pretty cool.
that was cool, man. So for me, that was the biggest guy. Celebrity wise, like I don't think I'll ever have anyone on my boat that trumps Flip Pallet, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's gonna be a
That's
hard
pretty
one to
cool.
beat.
That's
But we've had
damn
some.
cool.
That was cool. Like it was. I was like, well, you wanted to be a guide. Here you go.
Yeah.
Like this is about as big as it's gonna get. So
It's
good
like
luck.
here's the real test.
I'm walking back to the skiff with them to get on, and I text our group chat, and I was like, "Y'all won't believe this. I'm fucking guiding Flip Pallet today." And everyone's like, "Shut up, dude. No, you're not." Like, whatever. I sent a picture from the polling platform at one point, and I was like, I wasn't joking, and they're like, "Oh my god, like how the hell did he get on your boat?" And I was like, "It just, God works in mysterious ways,
Yeah.
man."
That's
So,
rad.
yeah, that's a story I'll never forget, and that was like uh, I call it a green light. Like Matthew
Yeah, I love that
McConaughey has a
book.
book to green lights, dude. That to me, that was like the green light. It was like nothing else could have been like, yeah, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing more than that. All playing out. Hunter giving me the chance as someone who's a new guide, just wanting to hear a perspective of a new guide's journey and what got him into it because he interviews guys that have been in there for years,
Yeah.
So he wanted to hear what it was like from the beginning if someone starts something like what we had in motion. And I've gotten several trips from that, and that one was clearly the icing on the cake.
That's freaking insane, dude. That's
It was
badass.
cool. It was really
So,
cool.
speaking of iCast, how was it this week?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
We and you kind of touched on it before we started the thing, just
Yeah.
catching up real quick. But like to me, man, I went down there and I went with an open mind because I've heard a bunch of horror stories back and forth and all of that, And you got two crowds. You got the crowd that loves it, and then you got the crowd that acts like they're too cool to be there. Like, oh, everyone's down at ICAST, bunch of freaking nut riders, and just people trying to get stuff. And it's like, no, man, you're down there because it's the biggest fishing event in the U.S. all year long.
Oh
Every
yeah.
major brand's there. Like all my
That's pretty
friends are
cool.
there. I
Yeah.
love fishing. Like the parties are awesome. The after parties, like you get to go out and have a beer and talk to people and hang out with people that you don't get to see all year because we're busy on the water and we're busy living life and we're busy with our families. So for me, like I loved it, dude. I had an absolute blast. We were out, woke up, get to ICAST around 9 in the morning. I didn't go to bed before 1 or 2 o'clock any night that I was there. And
Yeah.
you're tired and it's a grind. But like walking around just networking and people seeing our logo and we're nobody. Like I have a lot to build still and we're still in the beginning stages going into year 3. But walking around having random people say, "Hey man, I follow y'all's Instagram or your YouTube or I've listened to your podcast and I really like what y'all got going on down there." And it's like everyone likes to say, "Man, no one really cares. It's just Instagram stuff or it's just and that." And I'm like, people pay attention. People care.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's the cool, I'm too cool to be involved in that. People fucking pay attention, dude, and they're
Oh yeah.
watching what's going on. Like, and you're gonna have that, and like that's fine. If you don't want to be there, don't go. But don't be the guy to like post and think you're
Yeah.
cooler than everyone else because you're not at ICAST. Like, whatever, dude. You just didn't know somebody to get in, or you didn't have the money to go, or whatever. Like, if you're
Yeah.
broke, just say so, bro. Like, just say you don't want to go. Like,
Yeah,
don't
dude,
act like you're too cool for it. You know what I mean?
that's
Like,
that's how I did get it. I didn't know if I'd like none of the companies that I'm with needed anybody, and I didn't have the money, nor did I know anybody else that needed an extra hand at the fucking
yeah,
booth.
yeah, I mean, like, don't downplay. Like, I just don't get that, dude. It's like, why try to shit on someone else's good
Yeah,
time because you're not there? You don't think it's cool. Like, that's fine. Just
yeah,
don't go. Like, it's not for everybody, and that's fine. But dude, I had an absolute blast. Like, literally,
yeah,
all my friends were there. Like, it was
yeah.
it was cool, dude. We're playing ping pong at night at the bars, and hanging
That's
out,
fun as
throwing
shit.
darts, and like I said, like just meeting people, shaking hands, and like putting faces with names, like. that's what this is about to me. It's about the people you meet along the journey. Like the fishing, everyone says it and it's super cliche. The fish is just a bonus. To me, it's
Yeah.
about the friendships and the partnerships and like the few brands that we deal with that believed in us from the beginning and support what we're doing. Like that means the world to me. Like, and if they're there, I want to go support them and like show people their stuff. And I want to be a part of it. And I want to be around them when they're doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like they come here for our little fest that has five, 600, 700 people at it. Like I want to go to their stuff when those are big deals for them, to see
Oh
people
yeah.
there with them. So I think it's cool. Again, it's not for everybody, but that's fine. Stay your ass at home, dude. Don't come have fun.
Yeah.
Be miserable by
Don't piss
yourself, bro.
don't piss on everybody else's parade.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it's
But
fine. You're miserable. You're in a skiff by yourself. Like, yeah, that's cool. All right, you're at home while everyone else is here. Awesome. Like,
yeah.
cool.
What's next for Historic Coast Outfitters? Any new places, or you kind
Ah,
of touched
man.
on that a little bit?
Yeah.
Species and stuff like that.
For me personally, as the owner of Historic Coast, I obviously want to book as many trips as I can here for the guys, and I do love guiding here. Like this is
Yeah.
my home, and I'll never leave. But I really love the destination stuff
Yeah.
because I host trips out to the Chandelier Islands with the Pelican out there. I'm usually out there in September, and I'm doing stuff up in Maggie Valley. I'm got a group called Log Jam Outfitters out in Montana.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna try to set a trip up with those guys. They came and fished with us, and we just all hit it off. Their guides out there, and they got a good operation. So for me, I wanted to mix in a little of the hosted stuff,
Okay.
mainly in the states. I'm not. We have one of our guides, Brian Ennis. He guides over in Alaska, so we have a guy over there, and we're gonna try to hook up some stuff over there too. But I really like the hosted trips because it gives me a chance to connect more with clients. It gives me a
Yeah.
chance to know them on a personal level, hanging out not on a boat. Like I'm not guiding them when I go to these places. So I lean on guides in those areas. I'm not a guide that travels from Florida and goes and tries to guide in all these different places right now.
Right.
Like I try to utilize local relationships with guides there. They know the waters are there year round, and I go and kind of hang out and I help get people on fish if they're struggling or something like that. I'll help out, but more I'm just there kicking it, having a good time, making sure our experience is top notch.
Yeah.
And that's been really fun for me, man. Like I get to build core relationships with my clients other than just like a few hours on the boat for a day here and there. We're
Right.
out in these places for 3 to 4 days. We're staying in the same houses. We're all eating dinners together. So
Drinking
for
beers.
Historic Coast, yeah, drinking beers, whatever,
Hell yeah.
like we're hanging out being just regular dudes, like having fun together. And I really enjoy that. And it's also a change of pace for me from here, where I'm not doing the same thing year round 24/7 and getting burnt out. Like it's refreshing to go up there and I'll go up there and catch some trout, or I'll go out there and catch a bull
Yeah.
redfish or big jacks or whatever. So we're trying to do that. Um, I have some other stuff in the works that I can't really drop yet, but some big
Yeah.
stuff that we got coming up, documentary style, and possibly a book coming out.
Oh hell yeah,
Um,
dude.
if I could, it's very close. So we might have to do a round two episode once I get the final done on it, and I
Hell
can
yeah.
dive into it a little more. But be on the lookout for that. I'm working with a couple brands and a couple media guys that got the vision that I portrayed to them of a cool story that we found. So we're working on that. We have Marsh Fest coming up, and we're gonna do it in January this coming year instead of October, November like we have been. We're gonna push it back a little bit, and this year we're gonna actually add a skeet shoot
Oh
tournament
hell yeah.
to the Friday before, like we do with the event on a Saturday. So Friday we're gonna
Yeah.
have a big 15 station full course and have sponsors out to that set up at each of the booths, kind of like shoot against like the pros,
That's
type
sweet.
deal. Um, so that's coming up. We're gonna have like a dog training demonstration there by Bottomland Kennels, a guy named Travis Lane here,
Okay.
who's a hell of a dog trainer. So he's gonna come out and do some dog demos and stuff like that. So we got Marsh Fest coming up. So that's kind of what's on the immediate radar for now. And just continuing to build the community and guiding and trying to stay on the water and do stuff like that is
Hell
really on the
yeah.
immediate radar. So
I'm uh I'm coming down there for Marsh Fest, and
come on,
dude, I can't wait. But
it's it's a good time, dude. Like I said, it's a fun thing. We all have like a before party that Friday night. We'll do the skeet shoot during the day, and then we'll probably have like a little get together that evening, and lots of live music and oyster roast and all
hell
of that
yeah.
stuff. So yeah, we try to keep it kind of like festival, but more like a backyard party at the same time. Where
Yeah.
it's a cool vibe.
Hell yeah, dude. So I know you guys. What's the award that Dead Low is up for? It's
The Stimmy Awards.
yeah, the
The
Stimmy
Stimmy
Awards.
Awards. I think it goes all the way through July. People can vote for it. And Jesse Males did that for us. He's a good friend of mine. Backwater fly fishing. He's one of the best videographers in the game, man.
Oh
He's
yeah,
he's really good, and he did a good job with that film. And I didn't even. It's been out for like a year. And they hit me up this year and they're like, "Hey, we stumbled across it on YouTube. Like, would you be interested in submitting this?" And he's done a bunch of stuff for him, so I don't know how it slipped through the cracks, but that one's in there to be voted for this year, and that shows our low tide fishery. There's not any flood tide stuff in there, but that's like there's some clips in there where those fish are 50, 60 fish in a creek that's 6 inches deep, 3 foot
yeah.
wide, crawling with their backs out of the water and stuff. So there's some cool footage in there, and people seem pretty hyped on that video, so I think it's going to do well in it.
Hell yeah,
But we'll see, man. Like I was shocked they even wanted it, so
yeah, dude.
I put that stuff out with no expectations. We did a lot of that filming just to show clients the area was kind of the goal.
Oh yeah, dude, and that's what's cool about it. So everybody go vote for Dead Low and the Stimmies.
Yeah, please go
Heard it
vote
from
for
me
that,
first.
man.
But so this is how I end every single episode. With we hit on it a little bit earlier during the talking about your guys' podcast. So I do a segment where 5 songs. You get five
Okay.
songs. And I'll put them on a playlist, and I'll send you the playlist as well.
Cool. Yeah, I actually that's funny you did that. I've had like 4 or 5 people hit me up about our podcast. They're like, "Y'all talk music so much, like put together a playlist on your channel." And I'm gonna be honest, I kind of like you just reminded me that I need to do do that. So yeah, that's a good idea, man. So five, like for me, I have some like key guys that I listen to a lot that will always be favorites, but
Same
song
here.
wise, like they'll change. You know what I mean? Like so, right now, like Future Birds, My Broken Arm
Oh,
is a
dude, I
skiff
love
banger.
Future Birds.
They're one of my favorite bands. Like
Yeah,
they're top five for me. So Future Birds, my homeboy Leon Mikeson, Mangrove Shores is a
yeah.
banger. That's a song you got to have
What
on
was the
there. All
Future
Leon
Birds song?
stuff is good. Um, My Broken Arm.
Look at that.
It's on one of their older albums.
Athens group right
So
there.
that one's yeah, Athens boys, Georgia guys.
Yeah,
They're also Howler Bros.
yeah.
Have you seen the 10 years on the road video they did with them?
Yes, I did.
That's a
It
cool
was pretty
video.
sweet.
So we got Future Birds, My Broken Arm. We got Leon Mikeson, Mangrove Shores is the name of the song. We got Whiskey Myers, The Wolf is a banger. That
I love that
song
song too.
gets you hype to do pretty much anything. Um, I'm a Florida Jacksonville native. I got to throw a Skinner song in there because it's our religion. There's a
Hell yeah.
song called "All I Can Do Is Write About It," and it's a lot of people haven't heard that song from them. But it fits a lot of what we were talking about. There's a line in there that says, "I can see the concrete slowly creeping. Please take me in mind before that comes." And like I envision that song, and like that song was written, I think, the late '70s, early '80s, and I kind of envision like what he was thinking, back then was seeing progress in this area and what it is now. So
Oh yeah.
that would be number four. That's Leonard Skinner. All I Can Do Is Write About It. And then the last one, dude, I'm a big classic guy, classic rock. So CCR, Run Through the Jungle,
I
like
love that song.
that headed out will get you amped up, dude, to
Oh yeah.
go, fish or do whatever. So that'd be like my five that I'd recommend for a playlist. I've just off the top of my head, like that I always will put on, and I listen to a little bit of everything. I listen to hip hop, reggae. I'm
Same
heavy
here.
country and like southern rock. I listen to a tiny bit of bluegrass, like some of that shit's too, banjo twangy for me.
Yeah.
But I do like some of it, like big Billy Strings fan,
I
love
love Billy
strings.
Strings.
So those are the five though. I mean, I could talk about music for hours, dude. Like
I
I
could
love
too.
live music. So
But I'll give you the 5 that I do. So I give 5 in
okay,
every week too. So I actually have Photographed by Def Leppard,
all right,
MJB Future Birds,
good one.
and then You Give Love a Bad Name Bon Jovi,
Hmm.
Buffett Days Future Birds, and then The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down the band.
How do I? Why haven't I don't, that song sounds familiar. I don't know why I can't place it.
Dude,
I'm
they
about to
have
check it out.
there's a bazillion different versions of it. Like I'm pretty sure Hank Williams Jr.'s done a version of it, and all sort like a bunch of people have done it. But that's all I
I
got for you, man. Oh, my bad. Sorry about that.
No, you're good, dude. You're good. Yeah, that's those are some good ones. Dude. Those are some I haven't heard thrown out there yet.
Dude,
It's cool that you like the Future Birds, man, because there's very few people that get as hype about them as I do. Like
dude, I
they're in
love,
they're in my top three. Like,
dude, like them, all those Athens guys. Like, there's a couple bands there that like my little sisters told me about that are like college kids there now that are probably gonna
mhm,
be like the next ones. Like,
cool.
big REM, um, and then Widespread Panic, Future
Oh yeah,
Birds, all those guys. Dude, it's like I live for that kind of music
yeah.
and all of those
Uh,
Billy Strings. Dude, yeah, I could talk music all damn day.
Yep. It's there's so much good music out there. I get pissed when people say, "Man, there's no good country music out there now." I'm like, "No, you just turn off the radio." Like, there's
Yeah,
tons of good music. There's probably more good music out there now than there's ever been. Like,
John the
there's so
Blue
many good
Skies.
artists. Yeah, I mean, dude, just get off the radio. Do a little
Exactly.
digging, man. Like, so yeah, dude, it's been fun, man. I like I said, I could talk music for hours.
Dude, me too. But that's all I got for you, man. You got any last plugs or anything like that you want to give?
Not really. I mean, Historic Coast Outfitters on all the socials, YouTube. As all the kids say, like, subscribe, whatever the hell they all say. Go do that. Follow us, interact, say what's up if you see us out. Come down to the events, man. Like, anyone who's from out of town, we have people literally come from all over the U.S. to come to these events. Like, we've had people travel and show up in Arkansas and freaking Texas and way up New York, and like, so the word's getting out, and we welcome everyone, man. Come have a good time. Don't be intimidated to dive into your local community. If you're listening to this, if you live somewhere where none of this is going on, because that's the question I probably get asked the most is how to start. Just do it. Even if it's you and your five friends, find somewhere and be consistent. Whatever you play, if it's a tying night and you're going to do it once a month, don't do it once or twice and stop. Do
Right.
it and stay with it because it's going to grow. You're going to be contagious, and the people you want there will end up with you and support you and do all that. Don't worry about what everyone's going to say. Don't worry about it, what they're going to think. Who cares, dude? If you're not doing anything wrong, you're not hurting the area, do it and build it and they will come. I mean,
Right.
that's it. Just do it. Whether you want to start a podcast, a tying night, anything that you're wanting to do, just step out there and do it, man. You got to get started. Put that foot forward and don't
Hell
don't worry
yeah.
about what people are going to think.
Damn right, man. Well, that was awesome. I will put all your notes or all your website socials and all that in the show notes. And if you want a trip with Justin, hit him up. You'll have the links or everything like that in the show notes. So thank you very much for coming on. That was Justin Anderson with Historic Coast Outfitters. What a cool episode. Pretty long, but dude, all very, very valuable information. And like I said, if you guys want to book a trip with Justin and his crew, all of the information is in the show notes, all his links, social media, everything. Um, but thank you, Justin, for coming on. Everything. Super, super fun episode. But like I said, we are going to Columbia, South Carolina to do some striper fishing tomorrow morning. And I will update everybody on Tuesday about what we do. Leaving tomorrow at 4 in the morning. Getting probably a good 5 hours of fishing in. Fishing's been hot the last few days there. Um, just can't wait to get out there. But that's about all I got for you guys. If you like this, if you liked this episode, if you liked, um, just like and subscribe. And like always, if you want to save 10% off on your Riversmith Outfitter order, use code Wrangler10, WRANGLER 10. Save all on everything on their site. convoy series, river quivers, everything. And that's all I got for you guys. Until Tuesday, keep them tight, wrangle trout, wrangle fish, and have a great weekend. I'm out.